one realizes that suffering doesn't come from what happens, but from how we interpret it. If today you are in pain, there is something you must understand immediately. Suffering is not caused by events, but by the way your mind processes them. Two people can experience the exact same situation. One falls into despair, while the other uses it as a stepping stone to grow. What makes the difference? Perception. Carl Jung explained it clearly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This means that many times we do not suffer because of what happens, but because of the unconscious meanings we attach to every situation. What hurts you the most is not reality itself, but the story you tell yourself about it. Your mind holds an invisible power, shaping the way you experience the world. The question is, are you using this power to create peace or suffering? Think about this. If someone rejects you, there are two ways to see it. One way is to interpret it as, this means I am not good enough, that I will never be loved, that I will always be abandoned. The other way is, this simply means this person was not meant for me, and now I have space for someone who will truly value me. Do you see the difference? The exact same event, two completely opposite interpretations. One leads to suffering, the other to liberation. The way you interpret reality defines how much pain you will feel. But here's the real issue. Most people interpret their experiences through the lens of their deepest wounds. If you carry unresolved abandonment, you will see rejection everywhere. If you struggle with insecurity, you will perceive attacks where there are none. Your perception is distorted by what remains unhealed within you. You do not suffer because of what happens. You suffer because of what it means to you. Imagine losing your job. One person might see it as the end of the world. Another might see it as an opportunity for something better. The difference is not in the event itself, but in the interpretation of it. When you believe that everything is a tragedy, your life becomes a series of endless misfortunes. But when you believe that everything carries a lesson, your life transforms into a journey of constant growth. How do you start changing the way you interpret reality? Every time something causes you pain, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this? Is it really as bad as I think? Am I exaggerating the impact of this situation? Can I view this experience from another perspective? Find the lesson hidden within the pain. Jung said that what hurts us the most is often what we need to learn the most. If something is making you suffer, ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me about myself? Develop the ability of cognitive restructuring. Every time you interpret something negatively, force your mind to search for a new perspective. Instead of thinking, this is the worst thing that could have happened, try saying, this is exactly what I needed to wake up. Stop taking everything personally. Most suffering comes from taking things too seriously. Not everything is an attack. Not everything is a rejection. Not everything is a sign that you are not enough. Break the habit of demanding immediate meaning from everything. Many times, suffering is just resistance to the unknown. We want to understand why something happened right away, and in our obsession to find answers, we drain ourselves. Some things only make sense when you look back. Practice external observation. Imagine that your life is a movie and you are just watching the story unfold, detached from emotions. When you separate yourself from suffering and observe it from a distance, you realize that everything is temporary and that in the end, you decide how much weight to give each situation. The moment suffering stops controlling you is the moment you begin to apply this shift in perspective, something powerful happens. You stop being a victim of your own mind. You no longer take criticism to heart. You no longer feel like every loss is the end of the world. You begin to see challenges as opportunities rather than punishments. And here is the key. When you understand that suffering is a mental construct, you gain the ability to break free from it. But there's more. The deepest root of suffering is attachment to things, to people, to expectations. And in the next step, I will show you how to break free from this attachment so that you will never again be a prisoner of pain. The second step, break free from attachment to what you cannot control. If there is one thing that keeps people trapped in suffering, it is their need to control the uncontrollable. You want others to act as you expect them to. You want things to unfold exactly as you planned. You want life to align perfectly with your expectations. But here is the raw truth. Life owes you nothing. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you will free yourself from suffering. Carl Jung spoke about how attachment is the root of human suffering. We cling to people, situations, and ideas, and when reality does not align with our desires, we feel pain. But this pain does not come from life itself. It comes from our resistance to accepting it as it is. The first truth is this: the more you try to control, the more you suffer. Look at your own life. How many times have you tried to change someone, only to be frustrated because they remained the same? How many times have you made a plan, and when things didn't go as expected, you were consumed by anxiety? Suffering does not come from the event itself. It comes from your struggle against what is. People do not change because you want them to. They change when they decide to. Things don't always go according to plan, but that doesn't mean they can't turn out even better. Uncertainty is a natural part of life. The more you resist it, the more it will hurt. Accept that you do not have control over everything. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, there will always be things beyond your control. Instead of resisting, learn to flow with whatever comes your way. Identify what you can control. You cannot control other people, but you can control how you respond to them. You cannot control every situation, but you can control how you interpret it. Invest your energy in what depends on you, and let go of what doesn't. Learn to let go without fear. Many times, we hold on to things because we believe we need them to be happy. But true happiness does not depend on anything external. When you learn to be at peace without clinging to anything, you become unshakable. Stop living in expectations and start living in acceptance. Rigid expectations create frustration. Instead of expecting things to happen in a certain way, accept what comes and adapt. This does not mean giving up. It means trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. When you stop forcing life, it flows more naturally. Understand that everything is temporary. What hurts you today will be a memory tomorrow. What seems impossible now may not even matter in a few months. Suffering thrives on the illusion of permanence, but nothing in life is eternal. Here's a powerful exercise. Make a list of everything that worries you right now. Then, divide it into 2 columns: what you can control and what you cannot. You will realize that most of your worries fall into the second column. Now, commit to letting go of what you cannot change. When you release control, something powerful happens. Your anxiety decreases. You no longer waste energy worrying about things that are beyond your reach. You feel lighter because the weight of frustration disappears. You are no longer fighting against reality. And surprisingly, things start to fall into place naturally because instead of forcing, you allow life to flow. Try this 1-week challenge. Every time something doesn't go as planned, instead of resisting, say out loud, "This is what it is. I accept it and move forward." Whenever you feel the urge to control someone, remind yourself that each person has their own journey. Focus on yours. Make a list of the things you're clinging to and ask yourself, what would happen if I simply let them go? Each night, reflect. How free was I today from the need to control? As you practice this, you will notice that life becomes much lighter, not because everything is perfect, but because you have finally stopped fighting against the inevitable. But here's something even deeper. Letting go of external attachments is not enough. You must also learn to manage what happens inside you. Because if you do not master your emotions, you will continue to suffer no matter how much you try to control everything else. And that is what we will discuss next. How to master your emotions instead of letting them control you. Suffering does not only come from external events, but from how you handle what happens within you. Your emotions can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. If you do not learn to control them, they will control you. They will make you react impulsively and keep you trapped in cycles of pain. But if you master them, you will become unbreakable. Carl Jung spoke about the shadow, that hidden part of yourself that you repress because society taught you it was unacceptable. But when you ignore your shadow, it doesn't disappear. It becomes your jailer. It controls you from the depths of your unconscious, making you react with uncontrollable anger, paralyzing fear, or deep sadness. However, when you integrate it and understand it, you stop being a victim of your own emotions. You realize that you are not your emotions. You are the one who observes them. Imagine being in the middle of a stormy sea. The waves represent your emotions. If you let yourself be carried away, you will drown. But if you learn to surf, you will move with them without being overwhelmed. That is the power of emotional mastery. Anxiety is not the problem. The problem is your resistance to feeling it. Fear is not the enemy. Your interpretation of it is. Sadness is not the end. It is a signal that something in your life needs attention. To stop being a slave to your emotions, the first step is to observe them without identifying with them. When you feel anxiety, fear, or anger, don't react immediately. Instead, pause and observe. Tell yourself, I am feeling this, but I am not this. The moment you separate yourself from the emotion, you take back control. Instead of being carried away by the emotional storm, ask yourself questions. Where is this emotion really coming from? Is it as serious as it seems? What would happen if I didn't react immediately? Your brain is programmed to react based on past experiences, but the truth is that most emotions are not caused by what is happening now, but by what the situation reminds you of from your past. Change your internal dialogue. The words you use to talk to yourself shape the intensity of what you feel. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, tell yourself, this is temporary, and I can manage it. The way you frame your experiences defines your suffering. Find the root of your emotions instead of just treating the symptoms. If something repeatedly causes you pain, the problem is not the situation itself, but what it represents to you. Jung said that true growth happens when we confront what we avoid. Ask yourself, what past wound is being triggered by this emotion? Often, what hurts us in the present is a reflection of something unresolved in the past. Learn to use conscious breathing to take control of your emotions. You cannot think clearly if your body is in survival mode. Before reacting, take a deep breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 6. This sends a signal to your brain that there is no real danger, helping you regain clarity. Another powerful technique is writing down your emotions before reacting. Instead of acting impulsively, write down what you're feeling. Sometimes, when we see our emotions on paper, we realize they are not as overwhelming as they seemed in our minds. Emotions are energy in motion, and if you don't channel them, they get trapped inside you, turning into suffering. If you feel anger, use it to exercise. If you feel anxiety, take a walk. If you feel sadness, write or create something. Don't let your emotions accumulate without direction. If you truly want to master your emotions, try this for 1 week. Every time you feel a strong emotion, write down what triggered it, how you reacted, and how you could have responded differently. Before reacting to someone, count to 10 and breathe deeply. If after that you still feel the same way, then decide how to act. When a negative emotion arises, name it. This is fear. This is frustration. This is anger. Naming your emotions reduces their power over you. Practicing daily gratitude also helps shift your focus away from suffering. Even in difficult moments, acknowledging something positive rewires your brain to see beyond the immediate pain. When you learn to manage your emotions instead of letting them control you, people lose the power to manipulate you. Problems no longer overwhelm you in the same way. Your mind becomes clearer, and your decisions become more strategic. You experience peace even in the midst of chaos. But there is something even more powerful than mastering your emotions. You must also stop seeing yourself as a victim of the world. Suffering persists when you cling to the belief that life owes you something, that the world is unfair to you, or that circumstances are against you. This mindset keeps you trapped in a prison of your own making, preventing you from moving forward. And that is exactly what we will explore next: how to break free from the victim identity and take full control of your life. Carl Jung spoke about the importance of personal responsibility. The moment you stop blaming others and take control of your life is the moment you truly begin to free yourself from suffering. There is something many people don't want to hear. No one is coming to save you. And while this may sound harsh at first, it is actually a blessing. Because the moment you understand that the power lies within you, you stop depending on external factors to change your life. You no longer need someone else to rescue you, because you can become the person you've been looking for. Fact number 1. No one is coming to save you, and that is a blessing. Waiting for someone to rescue you, for fate to change in your favor, or for things to magically fall into place, is an illusion that only prolongs your suffering. It's not that the world is against you, but as long as you wait for something external to change in order to feel better, you will remain trapped in frustration. The key is to understand that no one is obligated to give you happiness except yourself. The victim mentality is fueled by 3 main beliefs. I have no control over my life. This belief makes you think your destiny is in the hands of others, or mere luck. The world is unfair to me. This thought convinces you that life owes you something, and that you are stuck in a never-ending streak of bad luck. I need others to recognize or help me. Depending on external approval to feel valuable or to move forward keeps you powerless. But if you look at people who have transformed their lives, they all share one thing in common. At some point, they stopped waiting and started acting. They didn't cling to the idea that the world owed them something. Instead, they took control and became the protagonists of their own story. How to break the victim identity. Change your internal narrative. Pay attention to how you talk about your life. Do you say things like, "This always happens to me," "I never have any luck," or "People always let me down"? These statements reinforce the idea that you have no power. Change your dialogue to, "I choose how to respond to this. I have the ability to change my situation. My past does not define my future." The way you describe your reality determines how you experience it. Identify where you feel powerless. Ask yourself, in what areas of my life do I feel stuck? What situations do I keep repeating? What do I constantly complain about? The answers to these questions will show you where you have adopted the victim role. Take responsibility for what you can control. You can't control others, but you can control how you respond. You can't change the past, but you can decide what to do with it. You can't prevent every obstacle, but you can decide whether you define yourself by your struggles or by how you overcome them. The key is to take ownership of your life instead of waiting for someone else to fix it for you. Challenge your need for external validation. Many times, we suffer because we expect recognition or fairness from others. But the world is not always fair. Instead of waiting for others to validate your pain or efforts, focus on what you can do for yourself. When you stop depending on external approval, you become truly free. Take immediate action, no matter how small. The first step to breaking free from the victim mentality is proving to yourself that you have control. It could be something small, changing a routine, learning something new, making a decision you've been avoiding. The important thing is to act. Stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions. Every time you feel like something is holding you back, ask yourself, is this really an insurmountable obstacle? Or is it just an excuse preventing me from moving forward? More often than not, the problem is not the situation itself, but the story we tell ourselves about it. Practical exercise to break the victim mindset. For 1 week, do this. Write down 3 areas where you feel like a victim. Write down how you could take control in each situation. Act on at least one of them. It doesn't have to be something big. The key is to prove to yourself that you have the power to change it. The result of taking control of your life. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and take responsibility for your destiny, you feel more empowered and at peace. Your relationships improve because you no longer depend on others for your happiness. You face challenges with greater resilience. Suffering decreases because you focus on solutions instead of complaints. But there is something even more powerful. When you find a purpose greater than your pain, suffering stops consuming your life. Find a purpose greater than your pain. Suffering is inevitable in life, but there is a reason why some people seem to endure it with more strength than others. They have a purpose that gives meaning to everything. When you lack a clear purpose, any obstacle feels unbearable. But when you find something that transcends your pain, suffering stops being a punishment and becomes a teacher. Carl Jung spoke of self-realization as the process of integrating all aspects of our being. According to him, suffering is not something to be avoided at all costs, but rather a signal that there is something within us that needs to be understood, worked through, and transformed. The goal is not to eliminate pain from life, but to use it as fuel to become stronger and wiser. Think about someone you admire. for their strength. Most resilient individuals have gone through difficult times, yet instead of letting suffering define them, they used it as a catalyst for growth. They found something that gave them a reason to keep moving forward, something that allowed them to find meaning in their experiences. This does not mean that you should romanticize suffering or seek it out intentionally, but rather understand that behind every challenge there is an opportunity for growth. If pain seems overwhelming, ask yourself key questions. How can I use this suffering to learn something about myself? In what areas of my life is this pain pushing me to grow? How can I transform this experience into something that helps others? When you find a purpose greater than your pain, suffering stops being a sentence and becomes a challenge. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start recognizing yourself as someone with the power to transform their own life. Jung spoke of the process of individuation, which is about becoming the person you are truly meant to be. A crucial part of this journey is discovering a purpose that gives meaning to your existence. To achieve this, identify what ignites your passion and ask yourself what activities make you lose track of time and when you feel most alive. The key lies in what energizes you, rather than drains you. Many times, our purpose is connected to our wounds. Those who have suffered abandonment may find meaning in helping others heal. Those who have overcome extreme difficulties can inspire people going through similar struggles. You don't need to have everything figured out from the start. The important thing is to take action. If something calls to you, explore it, read about it, practice it, and get involved step by step. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. If you want to find your purpose, avoid those who focus only on complaining and suffering. Seek out people who have already found meaning in their lives and learn from them. Accept that purpose evolves. What drives you today may not be the same in the future. Be flexible and allow your purpose to transform over time. Jung believed that the true meaning of life is not found in avoiding pain, but in finding a reason strong enough to endure it. Self-realization is not a fixed destination, but a lifelong journey of continuous evolution. When you find something greater than your suffering, you stop seeing pain as a punishment and start perceiving it as an opportunity for transformation. You develop resilience because you understand that every challenge serves a purpose. You feel more connected to life because you are no longer trapped in the role of a victim. Purpose is what turns suffering into wisdom and adversity into growth. When you finally discover it, you realize that you have not only moved beyond suffering, you have truly begun to live. Suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it does not have to define you. Every wound, every obstacle, and every painful moment is actually a doorway to your evolution. The goal is not to avoid suffering at all costs, but to learn how to see it through a different lens. The people who have transcended pain did not do so because they never suffered, but because they found something greater than their suffering. They discovered a purpose, learned to reinterpret their story, and took control of their lives instead of remaining trapped in the role of victims. Jung taught us that self-realization is the process of integrating all aspects of ourselves, including our pain. There is no light without shadow, no growth without challenge, and in that integration lies our true power. If today you feel that suffering is consuming you, remember this: you are not alone, and you are not trapped. Your story does not end here. Use your pain as a compass, as fuel to discover who you truly are and what you came to do in this world. In the end, the real question is not why is this happening to me, but rather, how can I use this to become the best version of myself? And when you find the answer, pain ceases to be a burden and instead becomes your greatest teacher. If you found this message valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with others who might need to hear this. Let's continue growing together.